This is Marvel Rivals. Heard of it? Probably. It's kind of the hottest hero shooter on the market right now. And for good reason, too. This game is a fascinating mix-up of the genre. Between the dynamic and fun heroes and villains that everyone knows and loves, to the amazingly implemented team-up mechanic, this game has it all. I'm here to get you started on your journey to be a hero. So let's get started with the basics. That is what I'm here for, after all. And we've got a lot to cover here. So suit up, and welcome to Rivals Kindergarten. Well, alright. I'm now making a name for myself as the guy who releases content a week or so after the new patch drops, huh? Oh well, I don't really give a fuck. I'm not big enough to get early access, so I like to play around a bit with the changes and see how they feel. So far, I have to say, most of the changes feel pretty good, at least on the characters I do like. And a full disclaimer, I do not like Ultron. He reminds me of Rocket when the game first came out. Rocket now is fine, and Rocket in Season 1 is fine, but Rocket on launch in Season 0 was pretty fucking bad. But he got high numbers, so that made it seem like he was actually better than he actually ended up being. Which is the same story for Ultron. Another complaint that I have for Ultron is that...
You know, one thing I really hate about Ultron players is they're all DPS players, so they're trying to diff the other Ultron, and I do not give a fuck about them. I do not care.
Yeah, that. Listen, I know you're supposed to do more on support than just heal, obviously, but the amount of times an Ultron player will throw a fight just to prove he's a better player than me, or my friends who are playing Ultron, is frankly a bit fucking ridiculous. Like, I understand that you're supposed to do more, right? Like, I seriously, but I don't care about you and your ego trip. Fuck off and go do your job, alright? And obviously, if I'm not doing anything else and I see an Ultron, I'll try to kill him to get rid of the threat. But I've noticed a lot of Ultrons go out of their way to do so. It's personal to them, because they're all DPS players, so winning duels is how they actually attribute value to what they're doing. Oh, Christ. But enough about that. Let's talk about the agenda for today. Much like last lesson, I'm going to be talking about the patch notes, the new team-ups and reworks to existing ones, and then finishing it off by talking about Ultron. But before Ultron, I'm going to touch on Jeff a little bit, because he got a minor or major, depending on who you ask, rework during this patch. So let's get down to business. First of all, I'm not the authority on all things Marvel Rivals. I'm just some goobus on the internet who wants to help new players ease into this game. I peaked at fucking Diamond, alright? Like, I'm not insane, bonkers, nutty, nutso boingo. But with that, don't take my word as fact, just as a jumping off point to improve yourself. I've also said time and time again, what works for me may not work for you. Everyone has their own playstyle after all, it's up to you and only you to find it. I cannot find your playstyle for you. Next, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section below. If you aren't being a dickhead about it, I would gladly have a genuine conversation and discussion with you. But if you're being a dickhead about it, I will just fucking ignore you with no problems whatsoever. Lastly, as is usual, all of my information that I'm saying is accurate up to Season 2.5. This might not hold up if you're watching this in the future. As a matter of fact, it definitely probably won't. Alright, now let's read some fucking patch notes, motherfuckers. Alright, so first is the Vanguards, and with the Vanguards leading them off, we have Captain America. He got a health nerf. His base health was reduced from 600 to 575. He got a shield nerf, increasing the delay of shield recovery from 2 seconds to 4 seconds after unleashing Living Legend. And his ult got a nerf. Freedom Charge now costs 3,100 energy instead of 2,800. Doctor Strange is next on the list. He got a slight buff. More than slight. Adjust the damage fall off of Daggers of Danok from starting at 10 meters and reducing to 62.5 to starting at 20 meters and reducing it to 80%. So it's just a bit of a slight buff to his range, but like a nerf to his overall range damage once you exceed that 20 meter thing. Remove the range fall off of Elster Madness, so his Dark Magic Explosion now no longer has range fall off. So that's cool. Emma Frost got some nerfs. Pretty upsetting. Well, she got a like one buff, but like it's like a net nerf, which is pretty disappointing. I knew it was going to be a nerf, but I didn't think she was going to get nerfed the way that she did. Her telepathic pulse, her primary fire, got a range increase to 18 meters from 15.5. Her shield value of Mind's Aegis was reduced from 500 to 400, and the cooldown of Carbon Crush was increased from 5 seconds to 6 seconds, which is her choke slam, and her crystal kick, the drop kick. The initial damage is reduced from 50 to 40, and the impact damage of hitting a wall is reduced from 100 to 90. So now just does 20 less damage overall, which is a bit frustrating, but like I get it. Next is Groot. He got some nerfs. Just nothing crazy, but his Vine Strike, his primary fire, was reduced from 70 to 65, and his Ironwood Wall, which is the one that gives him bonus health, and it's the big long one, it was increased. The cooldown was increased from 8 seconds to 12 seconds, so it's now on a 12-second cooldown, which I think is pretty healthy. I think those are some pretty good changes. I can say. Mag got a slight buff. His charging speed on his ring passive, like the metal rings, is now 3 seconds per stack instead of 4. So it's just a small little buff, but it's a good, basically a quality of life change, honestly. But not bad. Thor got a couple changes. Hammer throw ability now no longer consumes Thor force. It now has a static 6-second cooldown. And if you hit an enemy, you get a stack of Thor force back. It decreased the damage like by a lot. Instead of doing 70 impact damage on the way out and 30 on the way back, it does 45 on the way out and 20 on the way back. So pretty big change right there. Nerf, but just mostly a rework. And it decreases the shield value gained when consuming Thor force. So instead of gaining 100 bonus health per consuming Thor force, you instead get 75. And the maximum is now no longer 200, it is 150. So that's a change. Onto the duelists. Okay, Hawkeye got some buffs, which I think is crazy, but buff Hawkeye, right? His arrows now do 34 damage instead of 32. His projectile damage of blast arrows was reduced to 15, but the spell field, like the splash explosion damage, was increased to 34 from 32. So less damage on impact, but more damage overall. And he now gains more maximum focus. Increase the maximum focus from 70 to 75. Increase the charging speed when aiming at an enemy from 100 per second to 108 per second, and charge fall off speed was increased from 30 to 32 seconds. So it falls off faster, but it gains faster as well. So I don't know. Hela got a buff. She got a primary fire. Oh no. Her secondary fire, the explosive thorns, now do more damage. So that's cool. 8 to 10. Or not more damage. Well, they do more damage, but she has more of them. Like she has more knives that she throws. Human Torch got some nerfs. Pretty big nerfs too, I think. Reduce the damage of Fire Cluster from 7 per hit to 6 per hit, so each projectile does 6 damage instead of 7. Increase the charge speed of Blazing Blast from 2 seconds to 3 seconds, and decrease the shield value gained from Flaming Meteor from 75 to 50, and increase the cooldown from 15 seconds to 20 seconds. That's crazy. That's a crazy nerf. But I think it was needed, because Johnny's kind of been crazy. Like, crazy prevalent since his release. Iron Fist got some nerfs. Lower the dragon's defense damage blocked bonus health conversion rate from 1.5 to 1.3. Decrease the maximum bonus health converted from block damage from 200 to 175. Slightly decrease the dash distance of Yachi Chongqin in the Z-axis direction where there is no target. So he's less survivable, and he can't fly as well anymore. Reduce Dragon's defense cooldown. Reduction from Jeet Kune Do hits from 1.5 to 1 from 1 second. Okay. So a buff and a nerf, but like more a nerf. Iron Man lost the Gamma Overdrive team up. Decrease the projectile damage of the third repulsor blast from 50 to 45, and decrease the spell field from 60 to 55. Reduce armor overdrive maximum bonus health from 100 to 50. Namor got some changes. Increase the cooldown of Blessing of the Deep, which is his water bubble, from 15 seconds to 20 seconds. Expand Horn of Proteus, his ultimate ability. Inner circle radius from 3 meters to 3.5 meters, and outer circle radius from 8 to 9 meters. Decrease the outer circle radius hit damage from 200 to 180. They also adjusted his turrets damage fall off, starting at 20 meters. Prior, starting at 20 meters, it reduced 30% at 40 meters. To starting at 20 meters, reducing 50% 40 meters. So just bigger fall off. So he's not as long range viable. Psylocke decreased the retrieval damage of wing shurikens from 14 to 12 per hit, and decreased the invisibility duration of psychic stealth from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. Yeah, okay. Squirrel Girl increased the capacity of Burst Acorn from 10 to 12. Decrease the cooldown of Mammal Bond from 12 seconds to 10 seconds, and optimize the user experience of Squirrel Blockade, Tail Bounce, and Unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami. Okay, strange, but you know, whatever, it's fine. Star-Lord got some changes. His ult got changed. It is more expensive. It costs 3,400 energy instead of 3,100. Increase the maximum target range, so they reverted it back to the 40 meter range that it was before. Adjust the damage fall off from reducing at 60% at 40 meters to reducing at 75%. Okay, so if they're at the edge of your range, you're doing significantly less damage. Okay, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Storm got a buff. That's crazy. Increase the damage of Omega Hurricane from 150 per second to 160 per second. Okay. The Punisher got some buffs. I know about these. These are crazy. Obviously, I know about them because I've been playing the game. But even like before this, I knew about them because of how like goofy they were. Reduce the movement slow rate of Final Judgment, his ultimate ability, from 20% to 10% when not firing, and from 40% to 30% when firing. So he just moves faster when he's ulting, which is so goofy. And increase Adjudication's magazine size from 30 to 40, single hit damage from 18 to 19, and slightly reduce spread when firing. So his AR does more damage, has more bullets, and has a tighter spread. Excuse me. Strategists, Jeff, we're going to talk about later, so I'm not worried about that. Luna Snow. We're giving Luna a boost to her combat prowess while slightly reducing the frequency for ultimate ability. Increase light and dark ice healing amount and damage amount from 20 per round to 22. So her burst does more healing. Add a new effect to absolute zero. Now grants 50 bonus health per enemy hit. So when she freezes someone, she gains 50 bonus health. And increase the cost of Fate of Both Worlds from 4,500 energy to 5,000 energy. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's good. I think nerfing the energy cost of the overhealth, like the crazy healing support ults, is good. Like Cloak and Dagger, not Mantis so much anymore, but like Invisible Woman, Cloak and Dagger, Loki, Luna. I think that's a good thing. Even though I play all of those characters, I think it's a good thing to make it so team-wide heals are a bit more expensive and a bit more costly. Rocket Raccoon. Reduce repair mode direct hit healing amount from 55 to 50, so he heals less. Yeah, that's fine. And then we're going to scroll down. We're going to talk about the team-up changes. Let's see, some of them have been removed. Allied Agents is gone. Ammo Overload is gone. Chilling Charisma is gone. Iron Man has been removed from... Iron Man has been removed from Gamma Charge. Symbiote Bond has been removed. Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about the changes. Atlas Bond, Iron Fist and Luna Snow. Decrease the Atlas Bond team-up anchor damage boost proportion from 15 to 10%. So that's a nerf to that. Sorry, my fucking... I don't know if that got in, but my phone started to make noise because an ad started playing. Fantastic Four team-up was nerfed. Increase the cooldown of Storm Siblings, Wedded Harmony, and Cooperative Comrades from 20 seconds to 25 seconds. Yeah, it seems like all the team-ups are just getting nerfed. Because Gamma Monstro also has a 20-second cooldown instead of 15. Mental Projection. Reduce the proportion of damage caused by Magnetic Resonance and Soul Resurgence illusions from 30% to 20%. Yeah, so it seems like all the team-ups just kind of got nerfed, which is fine. I don't have any issues with that. But yeah. That's the patch notes. Okay, so that was the patch notes. Now let's start talking about the team-ups that have been added to the game. There are 6 new team-up abilities this time around. Some of them are better than others, as is the norm. But it is what it is. The game's the game. First up, let's talk about Chilling Assault, which is between Luna Snow, who serves as the anchor, and Hawkeye. He gets an ability called Ice Arrow, which pierces through walls. If it passes by an enemy, but doesn't directly impact them, it slows them by 60% for 1 second. If it hits them directly, it stuns them for 1.5 seconds. This ability has a cooldown of 20 seconds, and it has scaling damage. If you are 30 meters away, or it does 120 damage, but it starts at 30 damage anywhere before 30 meters. Next is the Jeff NATO team-up, which is between Storm and Jeff the Landshark, and it functions very similarly to Storm's team-up with Human Torch. When casting her ultimate, and Jeff the Shark also casts his ultimate, he can go into it and swallow people while she kind of pilots him around. It extends the duration of her hurricane by 4 seconds as well. And the swallow damage is 80. Now, let's discuss Operation Microchip, a team-up between Black Widow and the Anchor Punisher. Basically, normally, Black Widow's sniper can't pierce enemies, as you can see here. But when she uses the ability, as you'll see, it does reduce damage, doesn't crit, but can pierce through other enemies. It does 85 damage and has a cooldown of 15 seconds. Next is the Rocket Protocol team-up, which is between Penny Parker and Rocket Raccoon. Rocket serves as the anchor, and as you can see, his BRB station deploys webs and spider mines, which is great. I love that. And Penny can have another nest on the ground that deploys armor packs and functions as a BRB, as well as deploying mines. On top of all of that, she can have her original spider nest out at the same time, allowing for 3 nests effectively at the same time in 2 BRBs. This team up is awful, but not in a way that it's like bad and doesn't work well. It's awful because this is terrible. I do not like this team up just on principle. It's hard enough getting teammates to shoot 1 nest, and now they have to shoot 3. This sucks, Netties. Thank you very much. Then there's the Stark Protocol. This is a team up between father and son, with Ultron and Iron Man, who serves as this team up anchor. Actually, I think Ultron is closer to the comic origins in Rivals, where he's made by Hank Pym. Either way, here's the deets. As Ultron, you gain access to a beam that pierces through people. It heals allies for 85 health per second and deals damage to enemies for 70 damage per second. It has infinite ammo and lasts for 8 seconds. It has a 30-second cooldown, and it cannot crit at all. It also takes a ridiculously long time to activate, so you should not use this in a tight situation. This is something that you pop beforehand in order to clear a big room, or if you're going to make a risky and aggressive push. Lastly is Symbiote Shenanigans, which is a team up between Venom, the Anchor, and Jeff the Landshark. Jeff releases tendrils that do not attach to enemies, only allies. It heals the allies for 70 per second for 3 seconds, and then gives a one-time burst of 70 healing, and if they are over healing capacity, like if they have full health, I guess would have been a better way to phrase that. Good job script rating, Dan. They gain 50 bonus health instead of the 70 burst healing. All allies within a 10-meter spherical radius centered on Jeff gain the tendril effect. It has a 20-second cooldown. And that is it for the team-ups for right now. Let's move on to the Jeff rework. Then after that, we'll be talking about the main bot himself. So Jeff got what I would say are some much needed changes. I don't think he'll ever be perfect, but he got some slight changes. I'll go over it in depth here. He still has 250 HP, nothing about that really changed. All of his base stats are still the same. But first, his primary fire, Joyful Splash, got a slight change. Prior to the rework, it was purely a healing beam, dealing 150 healing per second. Now, not only does it heal for less healing with 130 HP per second, but it also does damage to enemies at 75 or 70 per second. It has an ammo capacity of 100, and it still penetrates, so it goes through targets, so it heals and damages if you have an ally fighting an enemy. His secondary fire, Aqua Burst, was kinda gutted. Whereas before it was a 12 capacity reloadable 65 damage projectile, now it's on a cooldown with 3 charges, each taking 3 seconds to recharge once expended. It does 25 impact damage and 45 splash damage, meaning it does 5 more damage. And if you directly hit an enemy, you can launch them up. So it's not completely hopeless, it just took some getting used to. Now let's talk about probably the most controversial change, but one that I think is ultimately healthy, no matter what anyone else says. Hide and Seek is unchanged, except for one thing. It now consumes a resource meter, meaning that you cannot infinitely be submerged underground. That is a good change. Like I said, I don't care what people say. A character that can be, among other things, this is just like, can be infinitely CC immune, uncrittable, heal 35 HP per second, gain a 60% movement speed buff, have a smaller hitbox, and climb walls. That's everything, actually. There's no more than that. That's fucking crazy. That's bad design. I cannot believe they let that fly for so long. And it's not Jeff's fault or like the player's fault who played him that NetEase let that last for so long. But that is inherently unhealthy character design, and I'm glad it's been changed. Granted, the resource meter charges back really quickly, but it's still better now than it was. That's my opinion. But moving on. Next up is the healing bubble, whereas before it was burst healing, now it heals 30 per second for a 4-second duration. It also has a 3 charge limit instead of 5 charges, meaning that you can spam it less, and it no longer knocks enemies away. That's what Aqua Burst is for now. So that's cool. Before we continue, there's obviously the note of his passive, Oblivious Cuteness. I don't know if it's any different, but I'm going to mention it for the sake of being thorough. He takes 70% reduced damage from critical hits. Lastly, there's his ultimate, It's Jeff. A 10-meter radius wide, 5-meter high cylindrical spell field that consumes all characters caught in it. After swallowing allies and enemies, Jeff will deal damage to enemies and heal allies for the duration of the effect, which is unchanged. During which they will also benefit from Hide and Seek, Jeff. Jeff heals allies for 225 HP per second, and then after they're fully healed, they gain 45 bonus health per second to a maximum of 150. Enemies, on the other hand, take 25 damage per second. This ability lasts for 6 seconds, and it costs 4,500 energy. So that's the Jeff rework. I have to say, it's pretty extensive for the most part. About my mic there, sorry. I like it overall. I think it's really healthy, and they still kept the essence of the character the same. He's a bit more brawly than he used to be, which longtime viewers will know that I much prefer over Dive and Poke, but he still functions very well in dive compositions. My new categorization for Jeff the Landshark after his rework is Dive Brawl. Now let's talk about him. Jesus, man, this guy keeps interrupting me. Regardless, I'm putting Ultron firmly into Poke. He is very clearly designed to be playing from range, especially given his Apex Legends Charge Rifle ass primary fire. is kind of brawl capable, but I don't think he would suit a brawl comp very well. I think he would need to be a third support if you were running brawl. Like, you'd have like Emma, Mag, or Thing as your tank or tanks, not more than 2, obviously. A DPS like Iron Man, Magic, Bucky, Mr. Fantastic, and then Cloak and Dagger, Mantis, and Ultron on your roster for a brawl comp if you want Ultron to work. I don't think he's designed to be played like that. Obviously, that's all speculative because I don't know exactly what his synergies are outside of Iron Man. Like obviously I know who he works well with, but I don't know like brawl wise who he brawls well with. Although I will say I've noticed he works well with Iron Man, Storm, and Human Torch on DPS. Just basically a full aerial control team. It does make playing brawl a little frustrating, but live and learn. Either way, Ultron is a flying hero akin to those 3 DPS. He has 250 HP, and his primary fire is called the Encephalo Ray, which is just the old Apex charge rifle. It fires a projectile beam that deals 12 damage, and then a massive hit scan beam that deals 75 damage. The page says it has fall off, but I genuinely do not think it does, and if it does, it's way past the distance they said it is. It has an ammo capacity of 6. Next up is his drone. His primary source of healing, Imperative Patch, which is a drone that you place on an ally within 25 meters of you, similar to the Orbs of Harmony on Zenyatta, except unlike him, it is an AoE around the droned ally, an 8-meter circle spell field. It heals 45 HP per second on the main target and 30 per second to the other allies in the area of effect. If your drone's ally goes over 30 meters away from you, or cuts line of sight, the drone will return to you after 5 seconds. This ability has no cooldown. Next is Imperative Firewall, which is a survivability cooldown. Upon cast, Ultron gains 75 bonus health for 3 seconds, after which it will begin to decay at a rate of 40 bonus health per second. Additionally, any allies within the 8 meters of Ultron or in the AoE of his drone gain 55 bonus health. It decays at the same rate. This ability has a cooldown of 10 seconds. Lastly, there's his movement ability, Dynamic Flight. Upon cast, Ultron strafes 12 meters in whatever direction you input and gains 50 bonus health. After that, for the next 8 seconds, Ultron gains 40% movement speed boost. The 8-second cooldown starts after the duration has ended, giving it an effective cooldown of 16 seconds. Now, let's talk about his ultimate, Rage of Ultron. He summons 4 Ultron drone copies to fire a rain of fast-moving lasers down on all allies and enemies within his area. Any ally he hits is healed 25 healing per shot, and any enemy he hits takes 10 damage per shot. I should clarify that when I say 10 per shot and 25 per shot, I mean that each drone firing a laser does that much damage or healing, not a total of 10 or 25 from all 5 blasters. Just wanted to clarify that after the fact because I realized I wasn't entirely clear. Anyway, this is editing Dan. Let's go back to past Dan. While in the 9-second ultimate, because the duration is 9 seconds, Ultron is CC immune and heals 50 HP per second. It costs 3,400 energy. So that's Ultron. I kind of blew my load early and explained a bit of his potential synergies and stuff at the beginning of the segment, but it's fine. He's not the strongest support in the game, and I certainly don't enjoy playing him over other supports. I think I'd rather play any other support in the roster than him, to be honest. Not because he's bad, but simply because I don't really enjoy his kit very much. But maybe you will, so give him a try, because he certainly has a lot of potential, and he certainly is well designed. I just don't mesh well with him. Alright, and that's that. That's the way the cookie crumbles, one might say. If you guys enjoyed today's lesson, feel free to let me know. Also, like I said at the beginning of the video, feel free to leave any questions in the comments section. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Please try to keep it civil down there too. I know the internet is an awful hellscape. Please don't add to it. We need more people to be genuinely valuable human beings, and less trolls and pieces of shit. Also, as I've been saying rigorously, not only can I not speak English, I am not the definitive expert on this game. I'm not the Marvel Rivals guy, so if there's anything here you don't agree with, feel free to let me know. Civilly, again, please, I don't tolerate dickheads. Lastly, as is normal, like if you liked, dislike if you didn't. I don't really care one way or another. And if you found this informative and want to see more content like this, subscribe too. again, up to you. I will still be here making videos no matter what, even if nobody ever watches them. So with that out of the way, class dismissed.